Hello, welcome back to Sense of Beauty by Stephanie. My name is Stephanie. If you're new to my channel, I love all things beauty, skincare, and I love teaching about curly hair. So if that interests you, make sure you subscribe below and turn your notifications on so you don't miss my next video. It's honestly been a really long time since I have filmed a YouTube video. I am so excited to be back. It's been well over a year now, and I thought what a great first video to jump back in with. One of my, I would say, top most frequently asked question about my hair, and that is, what kind of haircut do I get? So do I get a wet cut, a dry cut? Is there a name for this hairstyle or haircut? Is it layers? What kind of layers? When you go into your hairstylist, what should you be asking for? And what kind of stylist? Do I see a curly hair specialist, or do I see just a regular hairstylist? I am honestly embarrassed to say that it has been over 2 years since I last got my hair cut. I was planning on getting a haircut, and then everything got shut down. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna cut my own hair. So I've been meaning to do that for the longest time. So I'm gonna cut my own hair right now. So this may be a how-to video. It may be a how not to video. Wish me luck. So this is the shape it's in and the state it's in. It is not good right now. This is when I last cut my hair. You could see it was quite a bit shorter, so it has grown a lot, even though I've trimmed it here and there. I've had obviously a lot of growth. I started out with that cut. I just got long layers. So nothing too drastic, just long layers and a little bit of like face framing layers. So that's how it's kind of grown out. So as far as a wet cut or a dry cut, you might think like, oh, I should for sure do a dry cut. I should see a curly hair specialist. I should be doing like a curl by curl cut. It just kind of depends on your hair really and what you're looking for. If you wear your hair like strictly curly all the time, a dry cut might be better because you can really shape it exactly how your curls fall and how your texture kind of is. You can really like tailor it to that. If you do style your hair differently, maybe sometimes you do like to get a blowout or really straighten it or something like that, I would suggest probably going with a wet cut because you know it's gonna look good when you kind of straighten it, and it's gonna look good when you wear it curly as well. As far as layers, what I have noticed now that I've kind of had my hair growing out quite a bit and my layers have had a chance to really grow out, I have fine hair, and my density, I would say I have like medium density. I don't have a ton of hair. I don't have thick hair. So when I have more layers, my hair tends to look a lot like thinner at the ends. So I know it's always hardest to kind of let go of length, and you kind of want layers because you think, oh, I'm gonna get all this volume, all this fullness with a bunch of layers, but then you're like, okay, now why do I have these really stringy thin ends? So you might have to realize that your hair and your density might not be able to handle this really textured, layered full cut. It might not be suited for you. I for sure need to get rid of these ends. These ends are like so sad. I have a ton of split ends. I have breakage, I have damage. I think even from when I started transitioning back to my curls, I still have like damage that I never did like a really big chop and got rid of all of it. And I haven't gotten regular trims, so I would definitely suggest regular trims just to keep your hair healthy. So here's how it looks from the back. I feel like I really need to get rid of like all of that. By the way, I am not a professional hairstylist whatsoever, but I do know, surprisingly, I found out a lot of people cut their hair themselves at home. My hair is freshly washed. I don't have any styling products in it whatsoever. I just shampooed, conditioned. At this point, you can put a leave-in conditioner if you like. My hair is fine. I just don't want it to get too weighed down. So items you will need, first off, are hair cutting shears, not just like scissors from your kitchen or your kids' room, like actual hair cutting shears. This is just off of Amazon. You will need some sort of brush. You will need hair bands and some clips. And a continuous spray bottle will be handy because you're gonna want to keep your hair saturated. it can start drying out pretty quickly when you're cutting your hair. A very popular DIY cut that you've probably seen by now is the unicorn cut. So you literally gather all your hair in a ponytail, like right at the front of your head, like right at your forehead here. And then you cut that, and when you let go, you have these really like tons of layers, like gradual layers coming down. I feel like for me, if I did a unicorn right at my forehead here, I think I would get too short of layers all around this top area. I feel like the ends of my hair might look too sparse and it might look like scraggly. I might want to try some sort of bang situation. So we're gonna start with that section first. A great channel that I've learned a lot of information about is Mains by Mel. So she is an actual hairstylist. So it's good to check out an actual hairstylist for real guidance and tips. But she said, place a comb like flat on your forehead here, and where it like lifts up from your head is where you're supposed to like part to start your layers. So that would be like right here for me. So I'm going to take that down. Whew. Look how long that hair is, my goodness. I want to start with my guide piece. Take a little triangle. I don't have a strict part in my hair. If you do have a strict part, you should kind of start your little triangle from where your particular part is. I don't have one, so I'm just gonna go for the center here. And I'm gonna go like, I'm gonna use this section as my guide for the rest that I'm gonna cut here in the front. So this is where you wanna see, okay, how short do I wanna go? This is gonna be the shortest part of your layers. So again, you have curly hair, so you want to take into account like, okay, once it curls back up, that's gonna take off 2-3 inches, depending how tight your curls are. So I'm gonna quickly kind of scrunch up just to see where it might end up falling. If you're not exactly sure how short you wanna go, don't just like brush it straight and cut it. You need to scrunch it up so you can see how much your curls are going to shrink up, and then that gives you a much better idea of how short to go. I think I might be chickening out on actual like bangs, but we are going to go for some shorter layers in the front and face framing pieces. So I'm going to do this. Oh my gosh, I'm like nervous now. I'm going to do this like a couple inches below my chin here, and I'm going to cut. Oh my gosh, look at all I cut. That's a lot. Okay, so this piece will be my guide now. I'm gonna start with this side here. So I'm going to brush it together with this piece, and now I'm going to, you really want to over correct it. I want more like soft, rounded layers throughout, nothing too crazy. So I'm going to, you want to like look straight forward and brush across this way. So look straight forward, and you want to brush over correcting to that side. I want to cut in a downwards angle. I can see my hair is already starting to dry. So you just want to wet as you go. Once you see your hair starting to dry, just go ahead and wet it. And again, you want to look forward and go all the way to the opposite side. Angle it the other way. Then you can measure to see if it is even. So I'll kind of grab two pieces here, bring them down. And this side does seem a little bit longer, so I'm going to go a little bit more on this side. I just wanted that front bank section like out of the way now. And this is the part where I'm going to do not quite the unicorn cut. It's not going to be at my forehead here. I'm going to do it more at the top of my head here. So I know my layers aren't going to be going too drastically short. So here we go. The key is, let me actually wet it again. The key is you want to smooth it all the way into that ponytail as evenly and neatly as you can so that you get a nice even straight cut. And you want to really be brushing from the root all the way forward so it's totally straight. Okay, I think that I have it smoothed in nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and tie it. Very carefully. Now I want to carefully brush it all forward. And I'm going to pinch with my fingers. And this, like, I'm not going to be taking off this like length from the bottom. This is going to add in some layers. So don't think necessarily this is coming off from like the bottom of your hair. It's going to be coming off from separate layers. So I don't know. I'm going to go for this. Take it down and see what it looks like. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do next. Now we're going to go into the actual length of the hair. That was more giving it some layers. I do want to take my ends up quite a bit so it's a little more blunt as opposed to a ton of layers, because that's going to help fill in the bottom of my hair. So now I want to part it in the middle. All the way down the back. Now I want to brush it all the way down, nice and even. I am going to make sure that I get more of like a rounded U shape in the back instead of a V shape. A V shape, again, with my finer, lower density. I don't want this weird scraggly point. I want it to be more rounded so it looks like I have more fullness at the bottom. So if I were to look straight ahead and cut across here, then once I put it back over my shoulder, the back pieces would still be really long and I would have a really shorter edge here, so it would be a definite V shape, a much harsher angle. So I'm going to brush it. So instead of going all the way forward across my shoulder, these back pieces are being pulled in a different direction slightly. It's crazy how long my hair is. It's like to my waist almost. I think I want to do about that much. And now the other side. So again, I want to look off to this direction now. Then I'll work on making sure it's even afterwards, but I think this was about that amount. Okay. Let's check if it's even. I feel like I didn't do enough on that. I feel like it's already, I could tell it's less on the other side. So I'm gonna do a little bit more on this side. Now I think we are even. Okay, so here's how it looks. Totally wet. I can really tell I took quite a bit off because wet, it used to be like down to here. So yeah, that was a lot, but I'm excited. I'm going to now style it. I just finished diffusing. I did root clip like I normally do. So we are going to unveil this together. And at this point, I do want to see kind of how all the curls are laying and the layers, so I might kind of trim here and there, especially some pieces I know that are always weird and straighter than the other ones. I want to make sure it all fits in correctly. And another thing to note, if you get your hair cut either by a professional or by yourself at home, I would say give it 2 or 3 washes before you do anything else to it. If you feel like something's off, you might just be in curl shock. So your curls, their normal pattern and the way they lay, that's been disrupted. So it might take them a couple washes to kind of lay back down and settle into like their little happy curl homes again. So look at that shrinkage. I'm not gonna scrunch out the crunch yet. I'm going to kind of see how everything is looking. So I do have these pieces that are always straighter. I have like notorious straight pieces. So I'm just gonna go right in and clip some of those. So again, it's normal to have all different curl patterns in your hair. And I have wonky pieces all the time. I can see this little wonky guy I want to kind of take this end off of. Much better. Here's another one. This one is always wonky as well. Okay, I think that looks like I evened those crazy guys out. Now I'm going to go ahead and fluff it out and show you like the final product. Okay, here is the final reveal. It feels amazing. It feels so light and weightless right now, but my ends feel so like nice and healthy. So I'm gonna flip it to the other side just to show you like, oh, look at that. Look at that. Okay, that is like a perfect little bouncy, happy curl. So these are the front pieces that I trimmed. So you see how they really kind of, I mean, I didn't go for layers. I did chicken out, or not, I chickened out on bangs, but I did go a lot shorter with those layered pieces. And I think it just filled in so nicely. I don't know, I got like the face framing pieces. Again, it didn't take the layers too much. I feel like I got it a blunt enough cut on the bottom to where it looks like full on the bottom, but let's see the back. Let's see how it looks from the back. Look at that, that's a lot. I took a lot off and it feels, look at that. It looks so much better. So far, I am pleasantly surprised with the results. So please comment below, let me know what you think. Would you try this? Have you tried a cut and did it work or did it not work? Hopefully you got some sort of tips out of this tutorial, but let me know, comment below, what would you like to see for my next video?